let's take a look at using a checklist with a new employee. So I'm logged into my DayOne dashboard, and we're going to go down to Ashley Nelson and click on her onboarding index, which will open up, of course, a pop-up. And again, you want to make sure that you have pop-up enabled in the browser that you're using in order for the site to function properly for you. In another video entitled Sending Checklists, we talked about all the functionality of these three buttons, so we're just going to focus right in on actually getting inside a checklist and working with it. So we're going to look at Ashley Nelson's documentation checklist and pretend as if we are training Ashley on this checklist. If you've watched the checklist setup or creation video, you notice that you can, as you're creating your tasks, you can categorize some of them as needing to be RN approved. If you see this little button here, see all RN approval tasks, that means that there are tasks in this checklist that do require RN approval, and if we click on this button, it will just show us those that there is in fact one. And you can see here is where the RN would sign it, and then press the past button there. Then you can see the two sections, Section 1 and Section 2. So let's go ahead and launch Section 1 by clicking Launch Section. And we can see we are in the checklist documentation in Section 1 for Ashley Nelson. On the left side, these are the tasks: morning behaviors, meds, security checks. So we just have 3 tasks in this section. In the middle, then, you can add a note. Maybe if you're the person teaching, you can explain some things that you talked about or some things that maybe you missed or should be touched on again. And then you can record it as being taught or passed, or if you want to retest it, you would signify that by clicking on the last one here and clicking in how many days they should be followed up on. When you do that, the system will record that information and then send a reminder to this person's supervisor or trainer, informing them that this task needs to be followed up on in that particular day. A couple more features to show you, and then we'll actually put it in action here. Just underneath the task, there is this little picture of Ed, who is our DayOne mascot, and it says See Ed's Tip. So if we click on that, a little pop-up will open up, and what you have is a tailored tip about how you can think about teaching this this particular task to Ashley based on her learning style, based on her personality, based on her approach to tasks. A tailored tip to really help you, do what you can to make sure that you're helping Ashley learn this task in an efficient manner. And then finally, on the far right side here, see task history. If we open that up, we see any notes or markings that have been left for this particular task while you've been teaching this person. So let's add a note about teaching Ashley the morning behaviors task. And so we'll just say missed a couple behaviors, and then we'll say taught and record. Now if we open up the task history, we can see that note was added into the history of teaching this task. So if someone else is going to start teaching Ashley this piece, they can see what might have been done, or if you want to look at the history of everything that's been entered for Ashley's checklist, you can do that as well. Now, let's say that Ashley has passed out of this particular task, so we're just going to click the passed checkbox, click record, and then there's nothing else we can do. She has passed it. Now on this next task, you'll see this meds one. Same idea, we could get a tip about how to best teach that. We can add some notes. But you notice that there isn't a passed button. That is because this is an RN signature required task. So the RN needs to sign off on this one. And so we'll just say that Judy RN has approved this, and so she puts her RN signature in there. She clicks the RN approved passed, and then we can see it's passed with the RN signature. Let's go ahead and pass out of this one. And so all the tasks are done, and we can go ahead then and pass this section. And so when we go back to our checklist and see our sections, we can see that section 1 has indeed been passed. If we go back to the lists up here, we can see that our lists are still in progress. But if I go into section 2 and I pass out of this one and I pass this section, and then if I pass the list by clicking up here on pass this list, I'm going to go back to my lists now, and we'll see that the documentation list has been completed. And those are the basic steps to administering and working with the checklist as you're training in a new employee.